This is the second maintenance of Season of Discovery, and this week Blizzard has made a lot of buffs which will make a majority of people happy and obviously some people less happy. In front of me we have a chart with the DPS class dispersion for BFD, and as you can see, casters are not performing that well, especially the priest, shaman and mage. But what if I tell you that from tomorrow this is going to change? Tomorrow, with weekly scheduled maintenance in each region, we're going to implement some adjustment based on class performance and feedback. Druid, the Starsurge is going to get redesigned. The rune ability will get its damage increased almost double to 182%. The cooldown will be reduced from 10 seconds to 6 seconds, and the mana cost reduced from 3% base mana to 1% of base mana. This seems to be like a quick change for Druid, which is going to increase his DPS. But there's going to be more changes which we're going to talk about later that is going to affect the Druid significantly. The Hunter Flanking Strike, it's being redesigned entirely. As you know, Flanking Strike was not something that people would prefer as Hunters. So now it gains the benefit of weapon enhancements like Sharpening Stones. It's now on a global cooldown, and it's now properly treated as a melee attack, letting it benefit from attack power and combat modifier to dodge, parry, block, crit and so on. So it's going to benefit from Blessing of Kings, from strength and from everything. Flanking Strike, it's now prevented by Pacify. Flanking Strike now requires a weapon equipped. Flanking Strike pet damage is now properly treated as melee attack with same benefits as listed above for the Hunter's damage. Additional changes to normalize Hunter pet performance are still to be determined. Hunter received so many changes, and this is only one rune that we're talking about right now. We'll talk in a couple of minutes about more changes that come to Hunter, which is going to redefine the meta again. Priest is receiving a small buff. The spell, which I cannot pronounce, Homunculi, damage has been increased by 100%. I still find Homunculi not really a good spell. It's kind of buggy, but maybe that 100% damage will help them a bit. They are struggling really hard. Void Plague damage has been increased by 200%. That's huge. Remember, 200%, not... This is going to be combined with some of the changes that we're going to talk about later. And Twisted Fate now increased the damage done by Mind Blast and Mind Flay by 50%. Was 20% on targets afflicted by Shadow Word Pain. So this is going to be like huge. Those two new buffs are supposed to put the Priest on par with other casters. However, priests will still suffer from issues like mana regeneration. Rogue, Saber Slash, Sheev, and Main Gosh will now properly consume remorseless attacks. Saber Slash, tooltip fixed, damage not reduced. Saber Slash damage is now properly considered a bleed and benefits from the Mangle debuff. Note, bleed immune creatures will no longer be affected by it. Shaman, the Lava Lash damage is increased by 150% weapon damage. It was 100% before. Lava Lash mana cost reduced to 1%. It was 4% before. And Overload now has a 50% chance to trigger from 33%. Dual Wield spec now grants 10% increased chance to hit while dual wielding. This is huge. 10% at this level. It's more than you can get to the level 60 probably from the gear. 10% it's really huge. Some classes have like 5 from talents and they already start to perform better. But 10% is going to be something nice. Boon of the Black Phantom, world buff adjusted. It now provides 3% hit, 25 spell power, in addition to other effects that it already had, which was the attack power and the range critical hit, movement speed as well. I don't think necessarily that casters are going to be on par with the other top DPSs like warriors, rogues, hunters, and so on, because the way the classic is designed, it's always designed for melee. Melee was always on top. I think this is a good start. Spellcasters in general are struggling a bit in BFD, mostly due to poor scaling without spell power and a high requirement of spell hit to reliably hit creatures 2 levels above the caster. Keep those chrono boons handy and don't stand in the fire and lose your buff. Regarding the Hunter pet performance, note above. We will let you know as soon as we finalize this hotfix. We really like Hunter pets being able to occasionally do some raid or dungeon tanking, but it was never intended for them to be the best tanks in game. And moving on to some more Hunter changes, the following additional hotfixes have not been added to the game and will come into effect with maintenance. So probably depending on when you're watching this clip, the changes will be live while you play the game. Hunter pet attack values have been updated to better scale with Hunter attack power. Developer notes, pets that cast spells such as Scorpion Poison or Lightning Breath were scaling too well, and pets using physical abilities were scaling too little. We've now normalized the amount of attack power gained to scale with the focus cost of individual pet abilities. This means that abilities with a higher focus cost that are cast less often will receive more benefit from attack power per attack than abilities with a lower focus cost that can generally be used more often. Overall, this should level out the damage and reduce situations where some abilities were scaling too much or too little with Hunter attack power. There were those memes, especially with Scorpion Poison, where the pets were stronger than literally the Hunter itself, and I don't think it's supposed to happen. Scorpion Poison now distributes the additional damage it gains from attack power evenly over each stack of Scorpion Poison on the target. Previously, Scorpion Poison received most of its benefit from the Hunter's attack power in the very first stack. Now the additional damage gained from the controlling Hunter will not be gained until the full 5 stacks of poison are on the target. This increases the ramp time a bit and makes it less immediately deadly in PvP. Pets now receive a smaller portion of a Hunter's armor and stamina. Ooh. Hunter pets were gaining far too much durability from Hunter stats, to the point where some of the pets could get more than double the health and armor of a well-geared level 25 player. We still want dedicated hunters to have the ability to tank certain dungeon and raid encounters, but pets shouldn't be so effective that they become the objectively correct choice. Oh my god. I was sick the past week, so I didn't get to play a lot. I'm still like, you can probably hear it in my voice. But I'm going to go back on my hunter and see what's left of it after those changes. It's still probably going to be a really good class, because now we're going to a change that it's really huge for hunters. Aspect of the lion has been redesigned and it will now function as an aura. So now that means you can use aspect of the hawk with aspect of the lion combined. So you suddenly get extra attack power while still being able to maintain aspect of the lion on. As an offset to the lower amount of damage that some hunter's pet will deal, and try to make talents such as improve aspect of the hunter more attractive to hunters using aspect of the lion. So they're talking improved aspect of the hawk here, which gives you extra attack speed, that 5 talent points in beast mastery. Aspect of the lion to into an aura rather than an aspect. This change will go into effect with scheduled weekly maintenance tomorrow, but on the tooltip will not yet be in change. In a later hotfix, we'll rename and relocalize aspect of the lion to the heart of the lion and update the tooltip. I'm not sure if this is still going to remain like a chest rune, but even if it does remain a chest rune, you're not only getting like 10% stats with you and nearby allies, but now you can equip aspect of the hawk, which can be further improved with talents. I think it's a good change, which will make hunter more important than the pet, let's say it this way. And then we get to the change that is going to make everything better for casters in BFD. Elemental resistance in BFD has been lowered to fit more for a level 25 raid. So the shadow resist of Gelihast has been lowered to 25 from 75. The nature resist of Lorgus Jet has been lowered to 25 from 75. Shadow and Arcane resist to 25 from 75 for Twilight Lord. Invading Nightmare Shadow and Fire resist lowered to 25. Void Elemental Shadow to 25. And Corrosive Droplet's nature resist lowered to 25. And Frost resist lowered to 0. So basically, I don't think it's going to affect a lot the mages, because you don't have a lot of fire here, you don't have a lot of frost, but we see a lot of shadow and nature. Mainly this is going to benefit shamans, maybe shadow priest, maybe warlocks to a specific degree, depends on what spec you play. But it looks like with all that being said, with the buffs that the caster received individual class spells, with the new world buff, which is going to have 25 spell power and 3% hit, with the lowered resistances on bosses, and with the hunter being further nerfed, I think casters are going to be more competitive and get more raid spots into BFD. I think the changes are great for a lot of classes. Let me know what you think about the changes in the comments down below. Find me live at twitch.tv/Frostadamus. If you're looking to get a guide to level in Season of Discovery, in the description there's going to be a link to Rested XP. The guide is free 1 to 20, and in the future, if you plan to make an upgrade, use my code Frostadamus for 5% off. With that being said, thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in game. I'm playing on Crusader Strike, both NA and EU. Until next time, stay frosty. Bye bye!